Another tough, ugly, hideous, again, however you want to call it, win in Bauer Stadium. Sam Houston wins back to back Conference USA games, taking down the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs 9. And yes, you heard that right, 9-3. It wasn't a baseball game, it was indeed a football game. But either way, Bearkats are 7-2, and they're still in the race to get into the Conference USA Championship game. Sam Houston Sports Talk is now on the air in a way. Colin Neal, Luke Scott. Luke, as always, I'll let you get started. Man, that was a. I will say this: blackout worked out pretty well. Especially the student side of things. The students showed out once again. It's just again midweek games. It's just hard to get alumni to get to the stadium when it's a midweek, like because they got work, they're getting off of work, they don't have time. So a little over
Yeah.
almost 10,000 though showed up. That was the attendance number. I think it was 9,000. It was 9,800 something. But either way, just want to get that out of the way because it was a good showing. I still think we should. I still think white out needs to get done, an orange out. Either way, hopefully though that teases that the team gets black jerseys in the future. I really hope so because I think black jerseys, especially around the time in Halloween, it would look really nice. But that's not the what we're here to talk about, Luke. We're here to talk about the game. Just give me your thoughts. What was your initial reactions after the game? Now that we've had a few days to like sleep on it, we've been very busy with our responsibilities as adults, as graduates. So, but yeah, just go ahead, my man. Your floor is yours as always.
Yeah, Colin, it's that was just kind of one of those games where it's tough to get anything going. And um Louisiana Tech actually moved the ball on us pretty well at times throughout the game. Um but Sam Houston was just kind of able to find a way and win and then getting that safety there in the first quarter kind of settled things down. Especially because La Tech was just moving the ball really efficiently, quickly in that first quarter. And I think that kind of settled in the team there. And then you go into halftime, still 2-3, and you're just like, oh, this is not good. I mean, the offense isn't clicking. The defense is holding on by a thread. Um, you know, with turnovers, causing turnovers, playing pretty well, but really in the red zone. The red zone is where the defense looked at its best. And then we got the lead, and after we got that lead, it was just scratching, clawing our way to win. And I'm really disappointed, really, of how we've played in the last 2.5 games. I mean, it's not excusable, but yet we're 2-0 in our last two, and I get there's some injuries there at the quarterback position, but this offense, Colin, is very concerning. Um, Ever since that bye week, Colin, we have been found pretty vulnerable offensively, especially deep in our zone, because we're just not getting that push that we have been in previous weeks. And the offense, the explosive plays that we had seen, a bit earlier in the season, we only had one. And thankfully it was that Jay Ducker run that scored the touchdown. I'm talking offensively. That's that's all we had. That's all we could do was that one play. And I'm concerned. I'm very concerned, but I'm glad we got the win. But this is one of those wins that you really scratch your head, and um, now you kind of go into a bye week type scenario when you're off uh, quite a while, getting back on the weekend schedule with our games being on the weekends on Saturday. Um, I don't know. This game was wacky. It was ugly. It was a great scene. I thought the student section was awesome. The blackout was awesome, like you talked about. The tailgate was cool. Everything was going on. Um, it was a great atmosphere. The team, the offense, really just didn't do anything. But this defense is legit, Colin. I mean, we keep saying it. This is one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that defense has helped us win these last two games. I mean,
That's the only reason we've won.
it's just I was just shocked when I went to the box score, Luke. I went to the wide receivers, man, because one guy was missing. He non-existent. Is Quavis Humphreys. Luke, he only had one target, and you know what that target was? It was that Hail Mary that sailed out of
Yeah.
bounds at the end of the first half. I mean, Luke, I don't know the exact number, but we did not throw the ball past 10 yards more than 5 times it seemed like, and then we only did it twice. And when we did, Luke, it worked out most of the time. And it's just like some fans have been saying this offense is becoming a little bit too predictable. Uh, it seems like, Luke, basically all the defense has to do is just keep an eye on what Watson and the running back in the backfield do. Because
Yeah.
there was just sometimes, I mean, here's the thing. I did not give La Tech the defense its credit. I thought they played a really good game. They had a plan. They went in. I mean, they had such great defensive numbers, but I overlooked it because they faced Nicholls State, NC State, where they gave up 30 points, Tulsa, FIU, where they only gave up 17 points, Middle Tennessee 21 points, New Mexico State double overtime loss where they gave up 33 points, UTEP they gave up just 10 points. I mean, those are not good teams. Maybe outside of Tulsa and NC State, but NC State's probably become one of the worst power schools this year, especially with their quarterback being their starter being injured. I actually have a lot of stock in NC State in the next coming years, but that's for another time. I just I just thought this was when the offense was going to start clicking again, and but still, it's Watson gets keeps on getting put into positions, whether it's the play calling that's putting him in those positions, or it's himself getting put in those positions where he takes that hard hit. Luke, he took that hard hit, and then he never came back. He played a few plays, never came back. You saw it. Went to the locker room, came back onto the field, went back to the locker room again, then came back on the field. It seemed like that he really wanted to come back into the game. It ended up being a non-throwing shoulder injury, so thankfully it wasn't a head neck issue again.
It looked bad.
It that hit, oh, yeah. It seemed like when he was warming up, he was just in pain, and
Yeah.
thankfully they're on an 18-day break to give Watson some time. And then Jay Spauer was thrown in. He showcased some good runs too that kept drives going, that kept eating up the clock, and but
Oh, we were
still,
so wrong about Chase Bauer.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the fact that we were wrong or if it's the fact that they're afraid to let him throw the ball.
I just don't. I don't think he's very good. But I will say we haven't seen him get a chance to really throw the ball past 20 yards. I mean, honestly.
And that's why he was so good at when we saw the film that from Central Michigan. He could throw that deep ball. And we have guys. We got Quavez, we got Simeon, we got Ife, we got Noah Smith, who, by the way, Noah Smith had a good game after a few weeks off because he was out with an injury. He was a game time decision, but he came back, had a decent game. Uh, it's it's it just bothers me, Luke, when Quavez only has one target, and you're not throwing 50-50 balls to him. Uh, I have nothing against Simeon Evans whatsoever. He's been an absolute great grab. But on that one play, and it was a great play by the DB, but on that one play with a slant slash post route when you're in the red zone, I think if
Yeah.
you put Quavez in that spot, you have a bit more room for error because Quavez gives you a lot more of a catch radius to go upon, and he's taller than a lot of these DBs in Conference USA, Luke, and he's a hell of a lot stronger. I just
I disagree with that because especially on those in breaking routes, sometimes you just want those shiftier guys. And Evans actually made a really good route. He
It
had
was
a
a
good
great
route.
route. It was a great route.
The It was a great play by the DB there. And I know that because it happened literally right in front of me. And Simeon Evans was talking to the ref. He said he was holding. I didn't see the hold.
I
I
didn't
just
see it
saw a
either.
great play on the ball, and it ended up being a pick. But you take that, and you say, okay, well, if that's a touchdown, if that Elijah Stone catch or incomplete catch against FIU last week is a touchdown, then you're looking at the game being a whole lot more. the score being a little bit more inflated than it is. But Colin, this we are scared to throw the ball past 10 yards.
We
That's an
are.
issue.
We
That's an
are.
issue because, and I don't know, maybe we just thought that our receivers were very good. I still like them. I still like our team. I still like our squad there. But maybe we gave too much credit to them for such the early success that we had against Rice and against Texas State, against Hawaii. Maybe we gave them a little too many flowers. And I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough call. But when you say you give credit to La Tech's defense, I don't give any credit to La Tech's defense. We didn't do anything to give them credit, to give them to say, hey, they did a good job. We didn't even. It was just a bad game plan.
I also think we need to put our receivers in more positions to make plays. We have because we have athleticism across the board. I mean,
But do we use much motion in the passing game? Do we use it's a lot of
maybe with motion with the tight ends.
maybe. I mean, I don't see any bunch. I don't see any trips. I don't see it's the same in the shotgun. I want to see us get under center more. I just do. But
More play action. You said you wanted more play action too.
yeah, and whenever we're a running team, well, when you're in the shotgun, you snap the ball 5, 6 yards past, and your running back starts 5, 6 yards. I'm sorry, not past, but before the line of scrimmage. You're asking for a lot there, and thankfully they've been very good for us this season, the running backs. But
Oh, they've been
get under
amazing.
center and run a little bit more of the not conventional, but kind of go more old school. I don't know, just we got to switch this up because at the end of the day, we are 7-2, and that looks good and all, but we've scored 19 points in our last 2.5 games, Colin.
Scored 19 points in 2.5 games because we didn't score in the second
That's what
half
I
of the
said, two
West.
and a half games.
Oh, 2.5 games. Okay, you must have cut out for me, but I wish they would run a bit some more speed options. Like, Watson runs to the right, and then you have the running back right behind him. If they're that linebacker or whoever you're trying to read on that when you're going to the outside, if he's going to attack Watson, Watson can easily pitch it out to the running back. We've seen it work out before in the past, but they just kind of ran away with that. Now it's just a bunch of read options, RPOs. I
Well,
don't know.
the thing about that is though, Colin, what we're doing right now, a lot of those you know decisions that Hunter Watson has to make, he makes the wrong decision, he gets popped. I mean, he is getting killed out there constantly, and that's now two straight games he's come out of the game for some reason. I mean, it's got to be something. And when Casey Keeler, he said it, um, you know, in this last week's press conference, not it was before Tuesday's game. He said we don't call plays to win, or we don't call plays to score. We play calls. We call plays to win. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach, but that I was lost for words there.
Yeah, that I'm not gonna lie. That comment kind of caught me off guard a little bit. You listen. The thing is, you're not gonna win if you don't have Hunter Watson. I think it's pretty damn clear that this offense needs Hunter Watson.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and
We don't score any points without him in the game. We have not scored many points without him in the game.
I think only scored 7 points.
Yeah, it was the McKinney off a special teams play made, and we got the ball way deep in FIU territory.
But I don't want it to be all negative. I don't want to be all negative, Luke. That's not my style. I mean, while the offense is trying to figure things out, that defense is still going out there and performing. And I was worried because the defense kept going back out onto the field in that second half. I'm like, okay, it's last year. They're obviously much more conditioned. There's some more talent out there that is reliable, and the additions of Jimerson, the additions of Cash, and the guys up front have been doing really well, especially Kendrick DeJour. I mean, Luke, I've been calling this guy's name on almost every pod. He got that safety, and he's just been electric. And then you got guys in on the interior like Quincy Wright, the Oregon State transfer, who's been really good. He did go down with an injury, but I think he'll be all right as far as I'm concerned. Seth Mason has stepped up really big. Denver Warren's been getting some snaps.
Chris Murray's been
Amazing.
might be our have been our best guy in the front seven for the past 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, he has really stepped it up.
And Caleb Weaver with another interception. Four
We're just
interceptions on
used to it.
season. Yeah, I mean it's just like I really like that play, by the way, because it's like it was a 4th and 1 for La Tech, and they're going for it. It's a rollout by the QB. Like, he had a receiver open, like he had somebody open on the side on the perimeter, but Weaver is playing like shallow for a safety, but he's basically staying along the first down line. Like, okay, if he's running, then I'm gonna get him. If he's not, then I'm gonna try to react in time. And he was at the right position, at the right time, with really great reactions.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately that didn't turn into points because that was the great play by the DB that led to the interception for La Tech a few plays later in the red zone. But
And
again,
he just didn't see him.
yeah, it was a good play by Weaver.
But like La Tech had to play 2 different quarterbacks.
I thought Bullock's interesting as a redshirt freshman. I think he'll be a decent guy to build around for the future. They put in Jack Turner, who seemed like it seemed like the same exact kind of style as Bullock with experience, of course. Um, but he missed a few throws that were just like, man, if you just hit those throws, y'all are winning this game.
Yeah,
And La Tech,
completely.
La Tech's probably telling themselves, guys, we probably should have won this game if we executed much better on the offensive side and not turned the ball over 4 times, especially in the red zone twice, due to 2 times due to fumbles.
Oh, and they totally should have won this game. They had 20. Let's see, 20 total first downs. Sam Houston had 11 first downs. They outgained us through the air. They outgained us completely on total offense. Con The sacks really caught up to them. That was the biggest thing. It was getting put behind the sticks. It wasn't like there was many penalties. The refs, pretty much kept it in their pocket for most of the game. Um, La Tech should have won this game, and Sam Houston's defense in the red zone, causing turnovers, getting to the quarterback. That's the only reason why we are 7-2 right now, Thursday, October 1st, Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, man, what a job Skylar Cassidy has done in his first year as a defensive coordinator. Like,
He ain't gonna be here long.
either that or, I mean, either he probably goes DC somewhere else or he becomes a head coach somewhere. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah,
the thing is, Luke, a lot of these guys are not, Cassidy's guys. Like Keeler mentioned how Jimerson was someone that was going to go to Sam Houston, that was being recruited by Sam before Joe Morris left to go
hmm
be the defensive coordinator in New Mexico State. But when Jimerson saw that it was Cassidy, it was basically like, okay, cool, I'm still coming anyway because they had a relationship. But either way, a lot of these guys that are on this defense are retained from last year, and the fact that they work so well with Cassidy, it speaks volumes by how great of a hire Cassidy was.
completely so. And you've seen this defense elevate itself when we already thought, they were really good last year. We have seen them elevate to a new level where they're not only keeping you in games, they're winning you games, right? On the special team side, but also on the back end. Um, in this entire game, it was always like, man, let's just hold them to three. Stay in it. And we found ways to turn them over and win the game. That sealed the game, right? our defense playing big time minutes, keeping La Tech, not letting them get anything deep, keeping everything in front. Exactly what we said. Our keys to the game before the game. They executed on all those premises that we talked about. And Skylar Cassidy is one of the better DCs. It's interesting because if Keeler were to step down and retire, I don't know if he plans to. No one really knows. Um, I would want Cassidy to be the head coach. I would want that. But if Keeler doesn't, he's gonna be here for maybe 2 years and leave
I mean,
because some huge school is gonna come knocking on his door.
he has connections everywhere. I mean, his dad was at Auburn. He got his start at Auburn, um, and he's been a lot of places. So, and I think what helps is that the fact that he's young, he's not even 30 years old yet. I think
Hmm.
that helps him better connect with college players, especially since has that new school mindset with, you know, all the NIL, all the portal kind of stuff. It's I don't know. I don't know much. I don't know too much about Cassidy. Like I've never talked to him, but it seems like he would be a heck of a head coach one day. And I mean, heck, you never know whenever Keeler calls it a day, retires. It's I would if Cassidy is available, I would definitely consider. Not an expert
Yeah,
in hiring, but I would not an expert in hiring whatsoever. But if I were to say something, I'd be like, hey, consider this guy. Uh, if
yeah.
I'm Sam Houston, Luke, you mentioned special teams. The kicking game's still a big old question mark. Keeler, I mean, I said this a while ago. I already called it, but Keeler did confirm that Sessoms was indeed out for the year. I mean, I said that like a month ago, but it was finally confirmed by him. Um, but I don't know I don't know what's going on with Christian Pavon. Whether it's bad mechanics, whether it's something mentality wise. Yeah, exactly. I was literally about to get to
On
that.
in the warm ups, he was drilling them. I was watching him warm up. I'm down there on the field watching him warm up before the game and at halftime, and he looks just fine. I mean, he's taking smooth kicks, and I know there's no pressure, and it's like free throws, right? You can go out to the gym today and shoot free throws, but if you're running sprints and you're running, you're actually drilling, you're tired, and then you go shoot the free throws. How well are you going to do, right? It's that sort of type thing. He's drilling him in the warmups, and it's got to be something in the mental. I know Coach Keeler kind of talked about Pavon there in the post game. You were there. What did he say?
They were just gonna take these 18 days to work on his mechanics and note. I mean, that's when he also, like I said, confirmed that Sessoms is out for the year. It doesn't sound like there's gonna be any change to the kicker. I mean, I would give the other kickers an opportunity, maybe in practice, to see how they do. Um, Pavon did have a couple of chances on kickoffs. He did not kick him out of bounds. For once, I know that's kind of a thing that happened the past two games, or even all year. He does it. He does
All
it at least
season.
all season. He's done it at least once a game. It felt like. Uh, Now it's just only a couple kicks. I mean, La Tech only kick off twice because they scored once and then they kicked off to begin and or not or excuse me, Sam Houston only scored once on the offense, so they only kicked off once in that fast and kick off at the beginning of the game. Um, yeah, it's just I don't. I mean, I feel bad because I could never imagine being in that position where you are just not you just kind of like have the yips in a way when it comes to kicking field goals. Like I can't imagine how hard that can be. So I can't sit here and say I don't feel bad for him because I do, Luke. I do. I imagine how hard I can only imagine how hard that is. It's just you got to find a way to get better to go out there and do your job because it's going to come down to a point, Luke. If the offense is going to get hopefully slightly better, but if it's not going to be what it is at the beginning of the year, Pavon's going to be put in spots where he is going to have to put points on the board to give the
Yep,
defense some breathing room.
totally. And And then I've heard people online and say, well, let's just quit kicking. Let's quit kicking field goals. I agree with that, but Colin, we're barely able to move the ball into field goal position. So if we're just going for it on fourth down every time, we're gonna have more turnovers on downs because we can barely get a first down. So it's like, okay, we might as well take the chance and try to get the points. It's just you're in a bad spot either way because the offense is feels inept at times. Like seriously. And if you can't kick a field goal, well, how are you going to score points? You're going to score safeties, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah, that's the first safety that the defense has forced in 2 years. By the way, is what I got told. Against Utah Tech in 2022. So, I mean, like you said, though, the defense has just been playing out of their minds, and hopefully it keeps up while the offense tries to figure out. Luke, before we move on to one more thing, we're not going to have a football pod in a long time. They have an 18-day break. Maybe we'll release a football related pod. Who knows? But over these 18 days this 18-day break that they're on, what do you want them to work on? Like, I feel like I know the answer already, but what do you hope they are doing right now to make sure when they're in this final 3 game stretch, which is at Kennesaw, at Jack State, and at home against Liberty?
So I'm going to give you one guess to figure out what I'm going to say, and I bet you'll get it in one guess.
Offense. Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty much.
I mean,
We have to find a way to throw the ball because teams are just zoning in on our rushing attack. We can barely run the ball. Outside of one huge run by Jay Ducker, we couldn't run the ball. The Hunter Watson running the ball and huge explosive runs, that's gone. He got held to 1.5 yards per game against La Tech's defense is okay, maybe. I wouldn't say they're great. I wouldn't say they're the best defense we've seen all year. I wouldn't say they're a top 4 or 5 defense we've seen all year. I don't think so. We have to find a way to get the piggy off the back and get someone focused other than in our backfield. We have to find a way to spread the ball out, whether that's in the play action game. We used the rollouts, I think, very well early in the season. Hunter Watson rolling out to his left or right or wherever. We don't see that very well. When we do it, it's not very effective. Something has to give here. And I'm not saying just go air raid on people because we'll definitely not be able to move anything because I don't think Hunter Watson's necessarily the best thrower of the ball. But we have to find a way to at least get 8 people out of the box. Teams are just stacking the box on us, and they know what we're gonna do. We're gonna run the same read option type play over and over and over again. That's leading to Hunter Watson getting killed, and it's leading to DJ McKinney only getting 9 yards on the day. Something's we have to at least make teams think about of what we could do. We don't do that.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the passing game for me. Defense. The only thing I would say about the defense, maybe if I were to be a nitpicking a little bit, make better first contact at tackle. Like there were some times where the first tackle attempt just didn't go so well, and it allowed La Tech to gain a few more yards than they needed to. I mean, that's nitpicking, but that's really all I can say about the defense. Offensively, it's the passing game as well. It's like I said, let's try to get Quavez more involved. Let's try to get Ife more involved. Let's try to put these receivers in positions besides tunnel and bubble screens, besides those, in a position to where they're the ones making the plays. We have some good route runners. You said it with Simeon Evans, who is also a very athletic guy who can make plays in the open field, and we've seen him done that before. Quavez getting that ball up there for him to grab. Let's see what he can do. Uh, just obviously be sure you don't underthrow it. And Watson's shown some good passing plays, especially over the middle of the field. There's times where we went to the middle of the field a couple times on the passing plays on corner
Yeah,
routes,
yeah,
post routes,
all
slants.
2 times during the game.
and
all 2 times during the game.
there was a good throw to Noah Smith. There was a there was that good throw to Simeon Evans. I mean that you could say that was more luck, but it was that one where Simeon was being held like pretty damn like to like wow, like how the heck did he catch that? How the heck was that throw placed so perfectly for Simeon to catch it? Um, I don't know. It's just I guess it just kind of goes hand in hand to be a bit more creative. Like you said, you also mentioned it, running the same re-option play over and over again. I mean, I would just say be more creative, add some more spice into the offense.
Completely.
So
And most of these yards that we even have, they're yards after the catch. I mean, Noah Smith, all of his yards that he got, I think he only caught the ball, air yards. I don't know, maybe what, 15, maybe 20, right? Everything is after the catch, and that's a huge part of the game, no doubt. But I draw parallels to the Cowboys a little bit with everything being a stop route, everything being within 5 yards. I'm like, okay, I know Dak has not looked his best this year, but he can throw the ball. Like we've seen him be able to throw the ball. We have to at least put him in position. And when we get Jace Bauer in there, we really become inept. I mean, it looks like a middle school offense, Colin. Everything we had to play middle school. Spread right, red one. It was a wide receiver screen. That's what we ran because a quarterback couldn't throw because we were in middle school. That's what we look like with him in the game. It's awful.
and then when Watson's in the game, though, you get a semblance of you get the running
Uh,
offense going, but then it's like what else
Not
you got?
really, not really. You average 3 yards a carry
Yeah.
with Hunter Watson playing quarterback, so it's not even that.
So do you agree with the fans that are saying that our offense is becoming predictable and one dimensional?
I yes, that I would. I agree. I agree. I'll be nice. I agree.
Oh man, but yeah,
Oh, the offense is terrible.
yeah,
If you look at our offense and you look at it from 5 weeks ago to now, and I get it. Football guys, there's a whole lot more film, teams, there's a whole lot more research and into, just seeing concepts and similarities throughout games. Teams know what you like to run and know your personnel a lot better, but we have been limited to even lesser of that. I mean, seriously, if you look at this team, we were scoring 40 points, 30 points a game, 4 weeks ago. Now we can barely score a touchdown in a game. I mean, seriously, we were lucky to win against FIU. We were really lucky to win on our home field here against La Tech. La Tech should have won that game, Colin.
yeah, yeah. I agree. They should have.
And then it's like the one time, the passing game, it looks to be like a huge play. I think it was on a third down, whatever it was. I know I'm kind of rambling here a little bit.
You're good.
Michael Phoenix gets the ball and like pitches it to the defense. I know he got punched out, but it's like I mean, it's like what can go wrong will go wrong right there. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I still and yeah, that's just
I guess I'm just
unfortunate.
more pissed that I had to drive the 3 hours it was to get there to watch a score 9 points.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
that's part of it.
yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Before we end this pod quickly, Luke, just your thoughts and reactions. We haven't talked about this yet, but your thoughts about Oregon State and Sam Houston agreeing to a home and home.
Yeah, home and home's cool. Corvallis is a decent little spot up there in Oregon. Um, no telling what conference they'll be in at that point.
I mean, I
I
mean,
have no idea.
they're trying to rebuild the Pac-12, Luke.
I get that, but who knows? The home and home it's next year and then 2031, right?
Yes, yes. That now puts 13 games on Sam Houston's schedule next year, where they're going to be away from Bowers for a while, but it's all in due part to the stadium renovation. So I completely get it.
You understand it? I know the La Tech was ripping our locker rooms on social media. They posted a picture. The La Tech account, a football account, posted a picture of their uniforms and like getting ready for Sam Houston tonight against in Huntsville, and they shared a picture of the locker room, and the locker room got absolutely bashed. So I get it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, Luke, that'll do it for us. My computer is running low on battery, so it's now telling me that it's time to go. But football gets a break for 2 weeks. Let's see what they work on over this long break. Hopefully the offense can start clicking again, and hopefully that defense stays sharp because again, like we said, that defense is the reason why we have won these past 2 games. Keep an eye on our socials for more content coming your way soon. Sam Houston men's basketball and women's basketball are coming back, folks. Monday, men's basketball goes to Nevada in Reno to start and what is one of the most hyped campaigns in Sam Houston men's basketball history. Keep an eye out for content related to
Colin,
that.
I'll be in Nevada.
You're gonna go to the game?
I mean, I know I'm in Vegas at that point.
Wow.
They're in Reno. I'm in Vegas.
Luke, why you do this to me? No, I'm kidding. But you know. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for us. Luke, Scott, Colin, Neal, saying so long for now from Sam Houston Sports Talk. Eat 'em up, cats, as always.
Eat 'em up, cats.